You're not a serious musician if you have a day job. I've heard that several times from a few musicians. Not a lot, but I've heard that. Unfortunately, even from some musicians that I respect. It's a little discouraging, when you have such a desire and a connection to the music and you've been putting in work on the instrument. It's almost like nobody wants to take you seriously if you have a day job. I know better than that, right? I know that is not true. I am a professional musician. I do have a day job that I do, but I put in my time, I practice, I'm consistent with my practice, and I gig on average within a month about 2 to 3 times a week. I play quite a bit. And again, I have a day job. Not everybody is fortunate enough to be in a situation where they can make a living being a musician and take care of all of their financial responsibilities as a professional musician. I wish I was in that case. It can be done, and a lot of musicians are doing it. I really do applaud them, but there are many of us, myself included, that do not have that luxury. So what we end up having to do is to have another way to make income so that we can pursue our passions. But just because I'm not getting most of my income or all of my income from being a musician, that does not mean I'm not a serious musician. And so my point in saying that is to make sure that those of you out there who are feeling or having doubts that you are a serious musician or that nobody's going to look at you as a real musician, don't think that way. If you are a musician and you have a desire to perform music or just even for yourself, you don't have to go out and play. You can be a professional musician and stay at home, but make sure the time you're putting into your music is for you and it's quality and you're getting something out of it. Don't worry about what anybody else says about it. I know there are a lot of musicians out there that are full-time musicians, but they're not happy. They make good money, but music for them has become a chore and they don't get the feel out of it that they used to. I remember watching a video, DeFeo Marsalis, and he was talking something similar to that, where musicians that are, let's say, full-time musicians, music becomes a job and they lose that initial feeling that got them into the music. Even for myself, I had to make sure I didn't fall into that. And the topic was, he was discussing, and this is another conversation, but he was commenting on another musician saying, when he's riding in the car or when he's by himself, this was a successful musician. He said he doesn't even listen to music. He just sits in silence. And he gave several reasons for that, which I thought were very valid. But then DeFeo Marsalis wanted to add more to that for those individuals. Sometimes you'll get into a zone where you're a great musician, you perform well, but it doesn't give you that same feeling that you used to get when you used to sit and listen for hours to like Freddie Hubbard or listen for hours to Ella Fitzgerald. It doesn't give you that same feeling. So when you're alone, you'd like to sit in silence. So that's kind of the sentiment. But getting back to, what we were discussing in terms of being a professional musician or a real musician or a serious musician, just because you have a 9-to-5 job, that does not make you any less of a musician. Please get that through your head. Don't let that psychological damage keep you from your greatness, because again, there are a lot of great musicians out there that are doing very well in music that say, hey, music is not cutting it. I need to get something else. And they do, and they still have a phenomenal music career. So that's perfectly fine to be able to play music and do what you need to do from the standpoint of taking care of other financial obligations and things of that sort. I remember watching a documentary, because I'm a fan of what we call straight ahead jazz. I do smooth jazz too, but I really love straight ahead. I love the intricacy and the harmonic composition of many of the songs. I consider it like opening a good book. Every time I play a tune, something like Stella by Starlight, or Days of Wine and Roses, Body and Soul, those tunes, they're so beautiful. And when I when I play those tunes, it kind of takes me away. So it's like sitting down and reading a book. And then, of course, sharing that with other people. If I can be on stage or be somewhere where I can share that beauty with somebody else, that's the beauty of music. It really makes me happy when I can do that. But at the end of the day, when you're able to really have a love for the music and you can really enjoy the music, that's what it's all about. Being able to fulfill yourself, and then you'll get to the point to where you can fulfill others. It's great to be able to have something like that that you can use to get yourself in a position where you are self-fulfilled, right? It makes you feel very good. It keeps you motivated and it keeps you sound. So again, just want to let you know that playing music or being a musician, it's not about being full-time. It's about being able to do something that you love and being able to share it with someone else. And if they decide they want to pay you for it, then that's even better. So again, you do not have to be a full-time musician to be considered a professional or a serious musician. All right, take care.